Hi and welcome. If you're familiar with the channel, then you know that I typically do videos about crochet, but for today I am actually going to be focusing on cross stitch. So if you're not familiar with me, I actually do run a cross stitch design business. I sell kits of my designs on Etsy, so my Etsy shop is called Wistful Bird, and I will leave a link in the description to my shop if you would like to check that out. I've gotten a lot of questions over the years from beginner cross stitchers who are wanting to know how to start their first project. So for this video, I'm going to tackle some different techniques and give you some tips for starting your first cross stitch project. So let's get into it. So let's start by talking about Aida cloth. You have the same number of threads going this way as this way, and they're spaced evenly. So if you look closely, you can see there are holes at regular intervals in the fabric. And the spacing of these holes differs depending on the count of your fabric. So the count refers to the number of stitches you get per inch. And the most common count is 14, which is what this fabric is. Most of what I have is 14 count, but I do have one here that is 16. So if you compare the sizes of the 16 count to the 14 count, you can see that the holes in the 14 count are spaced wider than they are in the 16 count. So that means if you're making the same design on both of these sizes, the finished dimensions of your design will be smaller on the 16 count than on the 14. So then just a little tip in regards to that. If you have a pattern that you want to make either larger or smaller, you can achieve that just by changing the size of Aida fabric that you're using. And knowing that there are 14 stitches per inch in 14 count and 16 stitches per inch in 16 count, you can then calculate out the number of stitches that you have in your pattern and determine how large the pattern will be using which size of Aida cloth. So in terms of color, you have a lot of options actually. White is obviously your traditional, most common color. There is a lot done in black as well. And then there's a whole range of different colors too. Just for example, I have a green here, and then a couple of different shades of blue, and then sort of an off-white. But you can get it in pretty much any color. I've even seen some that are dyed multiple colors, tie-dyed. If you're really ambitious, you could even try dyeing some yourself. When starting out with cross stitch though, I would suggest staying with either white or a lighter color. Stitching on a darker color, particularly black, is actually quite difficult because it's a lot harder to see where the holes in your fabric are. And when you are stitching on darker fabric, I would suggest either using a light table or having some kind of light source behind your fabric to shine through the holes so that you can see where they are. If you are making a project from a kit, you will quite often get a pre-cut piece of Aida, so you don't have to worry too much about the size. But if you're not using a kit and you're just buying materials on your own, then you will most likely have to cut down your Aida cloth. So when you do go to cut your fabric, make sure that you're cutting it large enough that it will both fit your design and take into consideration what you're using to frame the piece in when it's done, and make sure that it's going to be large enough to fit in your frame. And if you are planning to frame it in an embroidery hoop, just make sure that you leave a couple of inches of extra space around each side just so that you have enough to fit in the frame and then fold over the back of it as well. Also, depending on the quality of the Aida cloth that you have, it can sometimes fray, so make sure you're taking that into consideration too. So there might be a bit of the edge that you need to cut off when the piece is done. If you are worried about your edges fraying and you don't want to cut a piece that's overly large, you can also tape off the edges with masking tape to stop them from fraying, or use fray strop or fabric glue, something like that. So another handy tip to know when you're first starting out with cross stitch is before you get started on your project, you want to take your Aida cloth and fold it in half. So you want to fold it one way, unfold, and then fold it the other way. And then where those folds meet is going to be the center of your fabric. And then what you can do is find the center of your pattern and line that up with the center of your fabric, and that way you'll know that your design is going to be perfectly centered on your Aida cloth. So next up I want to talk about embroidery floss, and embroidery floss is a cotton thread, usually comes in skeins consisting of 6 strands. So there are 2 major brands. One of them is DMC, which is the brand that I typically use, but there's also another big one called Anchor. There are obviously other smaller brands as well, but I think if you get away from the 2 major ones, there is a potential for quality issues, either color bleed or inconsistency with colors, and then strength of thread too. I don't know if I would particularly trust. So I would recommend sticking with either DMC or Anchor. So if you are using a kit, you will most likely end up with a floss card similar to this, which will have pre-cut lengths in all of the colors and amounts that you need. However, if you are using just a skein, for length, I would suggest cutting a piece that is no longer than the length of your arm. And that just makes it easier to work with. When you're stitching, you don't want to have to be pulling it out really far, because that will be more likely to get tangled and tied into knots and just cause more frustrations. So as I mentioned, embroidery floss has 6 strands, but when you're cross stitching, you typically only need to use 2 or 3. And when you are doing back stitching, which is typically used to outline a picture, you really only need 1 strand. So that means that you need to separate out strands from your embroidery floss. So to separate out the number of strands you need, you can either do it from the end, just count out however many you need and separate them out. And then you can just run your finger down the length of it. You can start either from the end or from the middle. I typically go from the middle, count out however many I need, and then just run my fingers through it. And that keeps it from getting too tangled. So to thread your embroidery floss on your needle, there are a couple of things you can do. The ends of the threads do tend to fray a little bit, so you can either run it through wax, or if you want, you can lick the end of it. But what I typically do is I take the end and I fold it over the needle, pinch it, and then slide the needle out so I have just a little loop in between my fingers, and then I push that loop through the eye of the needle. And I find that that works better than trying to go from the end, just because of the fraying at the end of the thread. So then when you're ready to start stitching, you need to anchor your embroidery floss to your Aida cloth. So one way is to just start stitching, but leave a little bit of a tail at the back of your work. So maybe an inch or so. And then you want to just kind of fold it back behind where you're going to be working. And the idea is basically that we're just going to stitch over the tail. So you just want to make sure that the loops at the back of your work are over top of that tail and holding it in place. So then you would just continue to loop over top of that. And then the other option is simply just to tie a knot in the back. So again, you start doing your stitch, but then in the end of your embroidery floss, you tie a loose knot, run your needle through, and then tighten the knot up. And just pull it tight so it's close against the back of your fabric. And then you just keep stitching as normally. And some people do say not to use knots in your cross stitch projects because it can cause it to be a little bit bumpy. But honestly, this is the method that I always use. I have never found that it's been bumpy enough to actually be noticeable. So if this method works for you, I say go for it. So next up, let's talk about embroidery hoops. And these come in all sorts of different materials, shapes, sizes, but all of them function essentially the same way. So typically you will have hoops made out of bamboo, but they do also sometimes come in different types of wood. You can get plastic ones, sometimes metal, and then again, any sort of size you can imagine. The small one is a 3-inch hoop. This large one, I believe, is a 10-inch, but you can get them even bigger. And they're not always circular either. Sometimes they are oval, or you can get square or rectangular ones. So essentially you have two pieces. There's an outer ring and an inner ring, and the outer ring has a little screw that you can loosen and tighten. So when you loosen the screw, you can separate the two pieces. So if you are stitching on a decent quality Aida, you don't actually need to put the fabric into a hoop while you're stitching. There should be enough stiffness for the fabric to hold its shape just as it is. But if you do want to stitch in a hoop, the way that you can set that up is to separate the two pieces, take the inner ring and put it down on a surface, lay your fabric over top of that, and then put the outer ring on top of everything. And this can be a little tricky to get lined up, and especially if your fabric is a little on the thicker side, it can take a little bit of force to push this all together. But essentially you want to just push down until the outer ring slides over top of the inner ring. And then once you have that all lined up, you can just tighten the screw. And then once you have that fairly tight, you can do a bit of adjusting. You want to make sure that your fabric is tight like a drum. So you can turn it over and pull the edges tighter, and then just keep tightening the screw as well. Make sure everything is nice and taut. And this is why you need extra fabric around your design, because that fabric has to fit into the hoop and then have some excess on the outside so that you have something to pull on to get it tighter. And then one handy tip is, if you're finding the screw is difficult to tighten with your hands, most of them actually do come with a little cross on the end, so you can actually take a screwdriver and tighten it that way. So hopefully these tips will be helpful for you in getting started on your first cross stitch project. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see a second part to this. I can cover how to read a pattern, how to do the actual cross stitch itself, and maybe a few other techniques. I do have an older video on the channel as well that covers some of these things. I will leave a link to that up above and down in the description below, but I still think it might be worth doing an updated version of that one. Remember to give the video a like if you liked it, and to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And please also consider becoming a channel member. Members do get videos early, as well as a couple of other perks. But that's going to be it for today. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you again soon. Bye.